AFC West, let's talk about the Chiefs first. It's your team up first. Let's talk their over-under win totals. They're at 11.5 right now. This is the only team really in the AFC West that's really not in a transition year. They're not in a rebuild year. What do you think? 11.5 is too greedy? Do you think they go over here?
Last year they went 11-6 and won the Super Bowl, and last year was a step back. We can take a look at their stats here on the graphic. Offense last year was obviously the big talking point. They weren't the offense we had seen. 15th in points per game, 9th in yards per game, 6th in pass yards, 19th in rush yards. So not as bad as people would have you believe, but not the typical Mahomes offense. The difference was the defense was arguably the best in the league. As you can see, 2nd in points per game, 2nd in yards per game allowed, 4th in pass yards allowed, 18th in rush yards. That's the only area they kind of struggled in on defense. The defense was spectacular. They won the Super Bowl because of the defense. They did. Now, in the playoffs, Travis Kelce showed out. Mahomes did what he needed to do to deliver. And I think as long as you have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, how could you count against them? I definitely am taking the over here. I could see a scenario where they only won 11 games, but something would have to go awry. There are a few question marks for the Chiefs. I'll address it first, and then I'll see where you think. Left tackle is the biggest one. It is the big question mark regarding the Chiefs. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be the rookie Sua Matia. I think that's how you say it. The other option is Wanya Morris, who they drafted the year before, but it's looking like it's going to be the rookie this year. That's fine. You've got Taylor back at right tackle, who is a lot better than the public and the media would have you believe. It's like because of all the false start penalties, they act like he's terrible. It's like, no, he's actually a pretty solid pass protector. And they have arguably the best interior offensive line in the league. So the biggest question mark regarding the offense is left tackle. I think even if that is a, up and down position, as it was last year, they will be okay. With the addition of Hollywood Brown, of Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice is going to be there. The receiving corps got a big upgrade this season. They are significantly better than last year. That was the weak point. So I don't see a scenario where the offense isn't better. I'm not saying they'll lead the league in every category, but they are going to take a step up just because of wide receiver play. They brought in Irv Smith at tight end. Noah Gray's still there. Drafted Jared Wiley. I think they have a lot of good pieces on offense, and the defense is still good. Yeah, they lost Snead, and that is a big deal. The defense is not going to be as good as it was last year because Snead was the shutdown corner. He took away the other team's number one. I think McDuffie plays better as a slot corner. I'm interested to see if Spags tries to put him as the man-up corner or if he keeps him in the slot or if he moves him around. We'll see a little bit of that. You got Chamari Connor, who started to come on late last year. I think he's going to be a big part of this defense. Safeties are underrated. So overall, I think the team is good. I think the offense will be a little better. I think the defense will be a little worse. But at the end of the day, you got Mahomes, and that's enough to get you to 12 wins, I think.
Right. Yeah, Mahomes being at the bottom of that list you mentioned definitely needs to be the number one talked about subject here because he can do magic. We all know it, right? So we're not going to beat a dead horse anymore. What did you have him at, by the way?
Probably, I say 12.
I have him at 12-5. That's what I have.
Okay.
And yeah, adding Marquise Brown, which I called. Just
sure did.
Thankful for that. Wish we would have got him at the Bills, but that's neither here nor there. Adding Xavier Worthy or drafting Xavier Worthy ran the fastest 40-yard dash time in the NFL Combine history. Losing Snead is going to be trading him to the Titans. We'll see how that goes. I know why y'all did it, and I think that it's going to help you in the long run. But look, when it comes down to it, you still have Chris Jones. You still have George Karlaftis. This defense, there's a reason they were, number 2 in the league last year? Yep. I think this offense takes a step up with the receivers that they've added, as well as, the guys that have been there already, minus Rashee Rice, because like you said, we'll see how that goes. I
will say right now, though, just to interject, apparently they usually announce suspensions in that regard before training camp. And they haven't announced any for him.
I know.
And they also usually wait until the court situation is over. And the way it's looking, his court thing isn't going to be resolved until way later in the year. So right now, it's looking like he might just play all season and then have to serve a penalty next year. So that's where it's heading. I'm not predicting that, but it's definitely the way it looks right now.
Do you think if Rice is in, Marquise Brown is in, Do you think we see Xavier have a lot of play time this year?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. That's what the Chiefs needed. They needed that burner guy. Because now they're going to have the burner, but not with the hands like Tyreek Hill had, right? So it's going to be fun to see Mahomes be able to still have those deep shots and, have those pretty much hot routes, what I like to call them.
And from training camp, they've been running a lot of that. And if you've watched any of the training camp stuff, Worthy, he's also a good route runner. Like, people talk about the speed, but he was just as good a receiver on that Texas team with A.D. Mitchell. I mean, he was, arguably the number one at times. Like, they went back and forth. I think he's small, so he's going to get ragdolled a lot. There's going to be plays where the defense just kind of takes him out, but you can't cover everybody. You can't cover Hollywood Brown and Rice and Kelsey and Worthy. So he's going to create big plays, but I don't think it's just typical go deep and throw a 60-yard bomb. I can't talk tonight. I think a lot of it might be you hit Worthy on a 10-yard slant, or you hit him in an RPO game and just get him moving on like a jet sweep, and then he creates a 40-yard play after that. I expect to see big things from the offense.
I do too, and I think you are going to see a lot more deep shots than you did last year.
For sure.
Mahomes was kind of limited to what he could do, 20-plus yards. So he completed a few last year, but I think you're just going to see that increase. I think you're going to see that ranking go from 6th in passing yards, maybe on up to 4th. I think with this receiving core, as long as they operate like they did last year, they're going to finish 2 spots up from where they finished last year. And then I also think that they need to use the rushing game a little bit more, just like the Bills did.
Agreed. I would love to see that. And I think Pacheco just gets better. He's a dog. I hope he bullies people. Before we move on to the next team, so we both think over. We both think the West is the Chiefs to lose. I know you should probably ask me this because I'm the Chiefs fan, but I'm curious your opinion. How realistic is the three-peat? Nobody's done it in modern NFL history.
So
how realistic is the chance that the Chiefs get it done and win the Super Bowl again?
So according to PFF, the Chiefs have a 77% chance of winning their division, which is the highest likelihood of winning a division in all of the NFL. That's why I went ahead and gave your congrats right here. But also, they had the highest probability, the second highest probability, aside from the 49ers, to make it back to the Super Bowl at 10%. I think the 49ers had a 12% chance of making it back to the Super Bowl. And again, these are all preliminary, and nobody can tell. But still, to have a 10% shot to make it to the Super Bowl, that's actually a really big number when it comes to Super Bowl statistics. So yes, I think it's very realistic because it's Patrick Mahomes, and when everybody counts them out, that's when they count themselves in. So I think that we see Patrick Mahomes is a much better. I know it's hard to imagine, but I think he becomes even a better quarterback. He's done it every single year. He's gotten better and better and fixed his weaknesses every single year. I don't think you see that stop. I think you see that the Chiefs keep going on. They're going to win that division. They're going to have a shot at the Super Bowl. It's just whether they make it there or not, that's yet to be seen.